Hello everyone. Thanks so much for dropping by today. I'm really excited about today's vlog. I'm excited about readings. I'm excited about life in general. And I'm so excited that you're here to listen to all of these goodies. Now, I've made some notes just to kind of keep track of what it is that Spirit brought through at the time that I centered myself around the emails that I've received from you. And thank you so much, by the way. I think just in the last week or so, I've received just a little over 200 emails. And they're just all amazing, so thanks so much for that. Now, I just want to tell you that I have some great announcements coming up, but before I start, I wanted to say a great big thank you to Lorelei McBroom. Now, as you know, I've been promoting the heck out of her because I absolutely love her jewelry. This piece here was actually a gift given to me from her, and these gorgeous earrings. And I was just so honored to receive this as a gift, but then I started looking on the internet, for similar type of pieces, and I couldn't find any. Now, Lorelei has been collecting from her tours with Pink Floyd, with the Rolling Stones, with, Rod Stewart. She's been collecting internationally all kinds of these beads and jewels, and she makes them for her own private collection. So you can well imagine, if you're getting a piece that's handmade by Lorelei, it's part of her own personal collection. You're not going to find another necklace or earring set or even bracelet that's going to be the same. But let me tell you, you're wearing a piece of history, and you have to understand the history behind this beautiful soul. And so if you want your personalized jewelry set, visit my website, look under the partner links, and indulge. I'm telling you, once they're gone, that's it. Lorelei is now on tour. She left yesterday for Europe. She's in the UK and will be going on tour with Aussie Pink Floyd, who is absolutely amazing. And of course, Lorelei was one of the original Pink Floyd members, along with her sister Durga, who's absolutely amazing as well in terms of artistic talents. This family is just amazing. Now, on to other things. I do have some announcements that I'm going to be making in terms of my business and how it is that I'm going to be receiving my clients and reading for them. So I'm really excited and pumped about that. But I'm not releasing that again for another couple of weeks because I have too much on my plate right now, and I'm just really excited. I'm going to be updating all of you, I promise. Now, I wanted to go on to some readings. I have decided to take some of the, notes from the vlog, some of the comments from the website, and some of the emails that I've posted, and I wanted to give some messages here today. Whoops, little tongue twister there, but I wanted to tell you, Diane, I've chosen you as one of the persons to read for today because you have a husband, you tell me, that's recovering from cancer, but really hasn't changed his habits in terms of cigarettes and, smoking, that kind of thing. And that you're afraid that, something's going to happen to him or that his health is going to be affected. And I can well understand that because when we love someone, we want so much for them to get better. But if they continue their habits, then of course it's difficult for us to imagine that they're going to get any better, because if you're smoking, of course, smoking is a very big cause of cancer. And so I can well imagine. Now, Diane, I have to tell you, your loved ones are always with you, and they love you so much. There's a lot of love that comes through around you. You have a male figure especially that comes through, and I believe he's your dad. Now, he gives me the sense that he's been gone for a bit. He shows me his chest area, and I don't know if your husband has had, some problems in and around his lungs. But your father gives me the sense that you're concerned about that, especially with the smoking. Now, he also gives me the sense that you ask him for a lot of favors, and I'm glad that you do because he makes me feel that he comes around you as soon as you start to ask. So if you're wondering if your dad hears you, absolutely he does. When the body dies, Diane, the body is not required anymore. There's no more life to it. And so we inter the body or we cremate the body, but really the energy contained inside, the soul, the spirit contained inside of the body absolutely does not die. It continues to live on. And these energies are always around somehow or another, especially if you speak about them, especially if you recognize them or honor them, and especially if you talk to Dad. And if you talk to Dad, you ask him favors, trust me, they really try behind the scenes to, help you. And they make different things happen. They give us signs. There's so many amazing things that Spirit does do for us. But you have to understand that these things happen for a reason. Everything in your lifetime happens for a reason, and that you have to keep your chin up is what your dad tells you, and that you have to understand that your husband has his own burdens and he needs to go through his own experiences in terms of what it is that he's going through on his life path. All you could do is, it's difficult. You can't tell him what to do, Diane. He's not a little boy. But at the end of the day, you love him. And so what you need to do is just put your cards on the table and tell him gently and beautifully and how much you love him and how much you care. It's difficult to break older habits, and perhaps you can get, some help or some support, even for what you're going through. Maybe you want to speak to someone because, of course, you're loving and you're always, thinking ahead of the game, especially with the big C word. Cancer is a big word and it's a big disease. And of course, so many have perished, but again, you have to understand that so many now survive cancer. And so try to keep your chin up, like Dad says. Be a little bit more optimistic. Diane, you have a lot of love coming through. You have some celebrations in September. Good for you. And I want to tell you that, he's never really far away from earshot. So keep on talking to Dad. Okay, Diane? Thanks so much for writing in. Now, Ursula, don't worry about visiting or not visiting your mother's grave or your loved one's grave or your dad's grave or your cousin's grave or whoever's grave it is. I have to tell you that when we bury a body or when we have ashes, those are the remains of the soul that was so ever present around us. So that's fantastic. But you have to understand that, that body is no longer alive. The soul, the spirit is, and that's always, like I was mentioning to Diane, Ursula, that spirit, that soul is always, always around us. And so don't worry about that. Now, I have 3 males that come around you. I have a father-type figure, if not, has to be a grandfather. And I also have 2 younger males to their side. And I get the sense that there's a lot of guilt around certain things. I don't know if there's a different grieving from one death to another in terms of these 2, energies that I feel around you. But I get the sense that you have some really good, and solid type of ways of thinking of things, or you have some solid beliefs in terms of that, Ursula. So don't worry so much about what others would think, or even don't put yourself through the ringer in terms of not going to visit anybody's grave site. Sometimes we have things that prevent us from going to grave sites. We have distance. I know some people, that have loved ones buried in Nova Scotia and live, in Alberta and can't visit, or don't have ashes. I know people that carry ashes and go visit grave sites. But at the end of the day, that spirit is like pure energy. It can separate itself into millions and millions of little pieces. It can be in a million places with one thought. It can control every single aspect of that being. So it doesn't really matter if you're not close to the body. You can still have your conversation with your loved one. You can still ask for favors. You can still feel them around if you close your eyes and just imagine them there, just even for 1 second. And trust me, that's just as good as visiting any gravesite. You really don't have to put yourself through that, Ursula. I hope that answered your question. You have a lot of love that comes through. You have some good news coming around also. A little bit of stress right now, but don't be so hard on yourself. Don't, maybe judge yourself so much. Look at yourself through the eyes of an angel. Then you wouldn't judge yourself at all. You love yourself. And if you love yourself, then you're going to allow yourself to learn and to grow and to make mistakes. And to learn what it is what you want. And to learn what it is that you don't want. Ursula, thanks so much for writing in. Take care, love. Now, Sherry, I have 2 males around you. One shows me lungs. I don't know if there was a problem with heart. I don't know if there was a problem with, with breathing, but shows circulation and also very, very sudden death. Now, the male that comes around you, there's actually another one attached to that. I have to be honest, Sherry, but the male that comes around you gives me the sense that July was a very, very important month for you. I don't know if July is a month of passing, but they give me the number 1 and 4. And so I would think it's either attached to a January or an April, or it could be the 14th of July. But there's definitely something to do for July connected to you. Now they give me the sense that they were honored twice. So I don't know if there was a funeral or, some kind of celebration of life, in one city and one in another. But I have to tell you that they recognize this very, very much, and they're so thankful for it. You have no idea. So they feel important, and they feel that they've been, honored twice. And so for me, this is a great honor, and I'm so, so happy that this happened and that they're recognizing this, because I think you need to hear this. Now, I need to tell you also, with the sudden death, there's a little bit of a guilt here, because I get the feeling that someone had promised to do a certain thing before that person would have passed, or before they would have, experienced this, sudden passing. But, really, I don't get the feeling that that goes unnoticed from the other side. And so if you can understand that the favor, even though it wasn't, or what you were supposed to do wasn't, done here on this earthly plane, it doesn't matter. The thought of it, or just the fact that you had gone through so much thought around what you were going to do in honor of this person before they passed, of course, they just give you the sense that that's a fantastic thing, and that they just love you to bits for that. So thank you so much for your honor. They want to thank you also for the pink and white flowers. They just give you the sense also there's something to do with a separated or broken wrist. I don't know exactly what that means, but just to be careful around that. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day, Sherry. Thanks for writing in. And, I want you to keep on dreaming really big, okay? Because I just get the feeling that the sun is going to start shining just a little bit brighter for you. So congratulations for that. Have a great week ahead. And thank you again, for your support and everything, and all your little compliments. You're so sweet. Thank you so much. Now, Janet, I've been wanting to talk to you, actually, the last vlog, because I think you've written twice now. But Mark says a big hello, and he tells me Mark. Now, M-A-R-C can also be Marcel. So I don't know if it's Mark or Marcel, but I have to tell you, he is so happy that you're starting to do better emotionally. Makes me feel that you've had 4 losses in perhaps the last year and a half, 2 years. Makes me feel that one was quite tragic. Very, very unanticipated, and so a little bit of a shock factor with that, and it affected 3 of you. And so, it's difficult to let go of that, and I know that it brings back grief in terms of another family member around you. But you have to understand, Janet, that this is the exit that the deceased person decided to take. They decided to leave this earthly plane with that tragedy, because really, if they would have survived, I just get the sense that there would have been way too much damage, or, head injuries perhaps, with, not being able to function on a normal level, emotionally or physically or even mentally speaking, perhaps, brain damage, that kind of thing. And so Mark just gives me the sense that he's with this person, that he came to get this person. He's so happy that you smelled his cologne. I think maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. He wants you to know that the silver earrings, or the silver earring that you lost, you're going to find behind the dresser. Anyways, I hope you have a fantastic day. He's quite funny, Janet. I hope you understood these messages. Please write some comments below here if you do, because I have to tell you, this guy's quite a card. Thank you so much for writing. And again, I just want to encourage you to keep on writing, even though you haven't written before, or you've been in the draw before. Keep on writing. I love to hear from all of you. Now, Jocelyne, last but not least, you have a brother figure that comes through, and a dad. There's a strong March sense, or Pisces sense, or something to do with March. But anyways, there's August celebrations for you. They're so amazing. I don't know if it's a family get-together, but I have to tell you, there's a baby coming. And I don't know if someone had a miscarriage, had difficulties around getting pregnant, if they thought they couldn't have children, but let me tell you, there's very, very good news coming. They make me feel that October or the number 10 is also very important to you. And I have to tell you, Jocelyne, you have some good news in terms of health. Things are getting a little bit better for you. There's some relieving news. And I just get the feeling that you're not going to be as disappointed as you thought you would be with the news that's coming in. I want to send you a great big hug because I think that you're going to be so happy with the news that you get. And I think that it's going to give you a sense of relief. Now, I don't think that there's a huge miracle here, Jocelyne, but at the end of the day, it's a lot better than you had anticipated. Remember, things happen for a reason, and always remember to be thankful for what it is that you have, because, think of, it could be worse than what you did, and when we're thankful for the things that we have, it just brings us in so much more positive, energy. So start thinking positive in terms of your health, Jocelyne. Let go of a lot of those burdens. Be happy that you have these males coming through. I know that grief is a difficult thing, and it could take years for someone to grieve. Sometimes we think that we've put it behind us, and the grief comes back to bite us when someone else passes away. We realize that we really haven't dealt with that great big pile of grief. And I could totally relate to that, because I've had something similar happen to myself. Now, just to let you know, I have some great resources to some fantastic people on my website at mediumjlane.com. So just to let you know, Jocelyne, there is bereavement counseling there through Tanya Boutte. She's actually from the Tri-Town area, I think. I hope I got that right, Tanya. But she's just so amazing. And she's actually one of my fave sites on Facebook through the Readings by Jay site. And so I thank you so very much today for all of you writing in, for all of the support. Stay tuned for some great announcements, because this is going to affect you, and it's perhaps going to relieve some of my booking issues, okay? So make sure that you stay tuned. I want to send you some great hugs. I love you all so much. Have a fantastic day. Keep on writing, and I'm going to be vlogging very, very soon again. Bye-bye.